Desmond O'Sullivan has worked in the premiere of Robert Anton Wilson's Wilhelm Reich in Hill in Dublin, Ireland, and he's also been doing in New York, shooting James Joyce's epic Finnegan's Wake. Alan Spechler for Voices of Consciousness Always. Today's program, Multifaceted Artist, Part 2. Seated to my left is Desmond O'Sullivan, who is an actor, director, been involved with Robert Anton Wilson's Wilhelm Reich in Hell and James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake. He's worked in Dublin and Manhattan. And I'd like to ask you, Desmond, could you share with the audience the meaning of Wilhelm Reich's life and Robert Anton Wilson and James Joyce's as it relates to your own art?
Well, I mainly got involved with or interested in Wilhelm Reich through Wilson. We were living in Sandy Cove in Dunleary in Dublin, and Wilson was living around the corner for us and showed us a play he'd written about Wilhelm Reich. It hadn't been published at that stage, and we expressed an interest in doing that, and through that I got interested in Reich. I think Wilson's main interest in Reich as a topic was that he didn't like to see like any author or any scientist's work getting burnt by any nation, particularly the American nation, him being a member of this great country. And then as a result of that I got interested in Wilhelm Reich. I can't really say how his work has affected me directly. I think the concept of mind and body being one system has been very important since I've discovered Reich, because any tensions that you build up throughout your life, either via childhood or via schooling, tend to manifest themselves in the body, that the body is a map of tension that one builds up through one's life.
Mm-hmm. The viewers probably know, but anyway, Joyce has done 4 works, main works, Dubliners, of which the chapter on the dead was John Huston's last movie, to be available to be seen in '88. And Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, Ulysses, which takes place in one day, and Finnegan's Wake, which is a nighttime dream, which you've done work in Soho and fragments elsewhere. How do you relate to Joyce's material?
For Finnegan's Wake particularly, Joyce wrote while he was in exile, wrote a lot of his material when he was in exile, and after reading Finnegan's Wake, particularly after reading it aloud, I began to spot particular Irish accents within the book, and then as a result characters came to mind, and I thought that it would be suitable for dramatization, because while the book exists on one level as a relationship between the I and the reader, whereby you can see visual puns and spelling puns, there's also another level the book exists at, which is the flow of the language, and also the accents contained within that. And I thought I'd like to demonstrate that by putting together scenarios which would demonstrate the language.
And Anthony Burgess speaks of you almost have to have an appreciation for music, like Wagner, to appreciate Finnegan's Wake. It's like clairaudient. It's like
I was doing a piece for somebody at a party one night, and he said it sounded very like a river, which is one of the central themes of the book. And Olivia, who's a character in the book, but is also personified as the River Liffey, which flows through Dublin. And when you hear the language spoken in a certain way, it's got overtones of a river.
It's interesting, at the same time, James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, and Gertrude Stein made tremendous strides in the art form called Stream of Consciousness, and then in America, William Faulkner. And there were all 3 Aquarians and a Libra, like all air signs. How does one approach Finnegan's Wake? Is it totally non-linear, or can one make academic and literary sense from it?
It's very difficult to. It's such an amorphous structure that any interpretation you impose on it, you're going to find in it, just like scientists perhaps do to reality, whereby you come up with a central theory and you look for the elements in the environment and you find it. Finnegan's Wake is a sort of a similar linguistic structure, whereby he's reached such a level of the pattern that connects is what Gregory Bateson uses. The more the mind evolves, the more similarity you see between things. You see a larger pattern, a larger order, and I think Joyce has very much pushed the language to express that possibly as much as it could ever be. And he said while he was writing the book that I am at the ends of English, which I think demonstrated quite nicely what he was up to.
Now, how will you be working in 1988 and down the road?
I'm not sure. Copal was sort of put together as an enterprise, and we were going to slap the name on anything that we did, no matter what it was, anything ranging from graphics to video to theatre.
What's your understanding, if it's just coincident, that some of the great epic poets and novelists like Joyce, Homer, Milton, they all started going blind? Do you think there's any connection between creativity and their vision is greater inwardly than outwardly?
We were always told by the priests when we were growing up that if you masturbate too much, you go blind. So perhaps it was too much intellectual masturbation. Perhaps.
Anything you'd like to conclude to the audience about your art, your work, your?
Not really. Just anybody who's at it, keep at it. Anybody who isn't, start.
Okay.
Shies, I should see. The whole out of fight did you die of a trying thirsty morning? Some stay sided Phililligan's Christmas wake. All the hooligans of the nation, prostrated in their consternation, and the Jordan with refuse of blood of urination. There are crones and groans and chefs and sitters and raiders and cinnamon too, and all joined in with a shout more joviality. Agog and Magog and round the Magog is the continuation of that celebration till Hannah Donegan's extermination. Some king can chorus, nor can keening, bearing him up and filling him down, he's stiff. But he's steady, his primo limb. Wasn't he the decent gay labouring youth, sharpening his pillows going to full his beer? And where in the world would you hear such a din again? With their big brow fundings and their dusty fidelios, they laid him brawl on a lang last bed, with apocalypse of Finisky at his feet, and a barrel load of Guinnesses o'er his head. See the total of the fluid hang the twaddle and the fuddle door.